Oh, we could fly.
Welcome to this new season of the Have a Cup of Jahani podcast. So, I want to title this new season that I'm embarking on with I'm Growing. So, this is going to be the season of growth. And that's what I'm going to share with you throughout the season. So, I thank you for coming over here and sitting with me. And I hope you enjoy. Hello, friends. So, on last episode, we talked about gossip. So, in the same vein today, kind of like, or similar, I should say, we're going to talk about the power of words. The power of words. Like, I'm a big believer that you can curse somebody or bless somebody with your words. Words are very powerful. They carry a lot of meaning. They carry a lot of, I hate to be so redundant, fuerza, power. So, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. All right. So, not so recently, I read Tender is the Flesh. And if you haven't, you need to go on and go on and read it. So, this macabre horror book that is out there, is a Latinx, and it is about, in a nutshell, cannibalism. But let me tell you how that cannibalism started. It started through a classification of a type of human being, through words, damn it, through words. And I made a video on TikTok. I made a lot of videos on TikTok about this book because it it touched trauma. It touched a lot of triggers, a lot of scars in my soul that I had for quite a long time. And it triggers so many emotions when I read it. And it made me angry, because while it's a work of fiction, so it's such a reflection of where our society is and where it can be if we're not careful with how we use our words and how we talk about people. So let me explain. So in this book, it started with a virus. Long and behold, right? It started with a virus, and because of that, the government started to say, "Well, we can't eat meat because the virus had transferred itself to animals, and because of that, we have to just kill every animal. We can't consume it because then we will get sick and die." And you can see that from here on, things get dicey because they try to figure out how they can continue living even in the absence of animal product. And long and behold, the government is like, cannot find any other alternative to animal food, to protein, not medicine, not nothing, right? Mhm. But they resort to a special meat, folks. Guess what this special meat is? Yes, you guessed it. It's people. It's people, but it's certain kind of people. So this book, in essence, is depicting a racist, discriminatory, just heartless society that has tagged a certain kind of people as not being people, being nothing but a product. And once that categorization happens, it's like, boom, it's kind of like a light switch. All of a sudden, those people are dehumanized. They are stripped of their dignity, of their human rights, of everything that is them. And then to me, it broke, oh my God, it kind of like broke my heart reading the backstory and reading it little by little throughout the book because it's interlaced. It's kind of like weaved into the story. So it's well written, this book. because you read it throughout the whole story. It's not just like a big chunk of the first chapter and then you see how everything came about. No, the author walks you through it little by little, because you go from the present to the past, and so forth, until you understand by the time you're in the middle of it how the culture, how the society got into the predicament that they're in. But by the time you realize how it happened, you're already past the middle of this book and there's no turning back. But it made me think once that clicked, where I found out that they gave classifications to certain individuals. It reminded me of the words that we use to describe people that cross the border, to describe people trying to seek residence in the United States. It was kind of like putting things together, how we hear migrants, how we hear some people refer to them as animals, refer to people crossing the border and calling them all these names. Reading the book and then having all of that just flushing through my brain, it's like it's a realization of sorts that we are essentially dehumanizing a group of people because we see them or we perceive them in a certain light. And if we continue to use certain kind of wording, eventually we will see them, if we don't already do so, as less than a human being. And then if we continue to do so, we will see them not as a human being. And that's essentially pretty much what happened when Africans were enslaved. They were categorized as other than human, and atrocities happen because it's that switch. All of a sudden, somebody is not in the human category. Therefore, that person can be treated like an animal per se, because that person is stripped down of the humanity, the dignity and respect that comes just from being a human. And that's what you see in this book, is you see a group of people being categorized as special meat, and essentially they're treated like cattle, very much so like cattle. They are bred like cattle. They are they don't know how to talk because they don't give them anything other than putting them in farm as if they're animals. And it was painful to read. And I had to really muddle through most of it after the half of the book. And there was some parts that I skipped because it was just too much. I just couldn't take seeing and reading certain things, because when I read, I have a vivid image in my mind. And that's not something that I wanted to have ingrained in my mind's eye. So there were quite a few passages that I just skipped over as soon as I saw where it was headed. And I just started fresh when I knew that that scene would be over. But that book made me think about it, just that, how powerful words are, and how they can be a curse, but they can also be a blessing. So in turn, while we may be able to strip down somebody of their humanity just by the way that we talk about them, classify them, or how we refer to them, we can, if we understand that, we can change it to where we use the words that reminds us of the humanity in all of them. And that goes for a lot of things. That goes for incarcerated individuals. That goes for elderly people. That goes for disabled people. That goes for children. That goes for, I would even say, even for pets, for animals, because a lot of times we don't realize that they have emotions, they have feelings. While they're not human beings, the animals still have emotions and they feel pain and sadness like the rest of us. So they do merit that kindness that one would afford another living thing. And it all starts with words. It all starts with how we talk about them, how we refer to them, how we classify them. It starts there because once we utter those words, then our actions follow. So, I mean, just imagine if everyone is a person, right? If we have this classification where we say folk or we say person to everyone, right? And that's how we refer to them, or just with the regular Mr. and Mrs. or they, them, um, to remind us that everyone is a human being as opposed to using derogatory words or using words that are associated with animals such as migrant or even calling people alien. Like, I had a card that said that was my alien card, my green card, and they called it the green card, and then I was an alien. um, so you see what, and people may not think much of it, but you start saying something so much, and that word is also used to categorize something else, a being that is not a human being, that has certain repercussions in the brain. The brain will make certain parallels with that, and then the actions will follow. So when I say words are powerful, and I'm using this fictional book as an example, I'm also using our own history as an example to show how categorizing individuals in a way that personifies something other than human has heavy repercussions, has the repercussions of us treating them as anything less than the human beings that they are. So take that what you will with it. This was a heavy episode, and I know so. So take a breather, go ahead and breathe it out. If you want to read that book, go ahead and read it. But let me know if you did. Let me know if you agree or you disagree, or maybe I'm just too heavy with this or taking this all out of proportion. I don't know. But I'll leave you with this. Words are powerful. You can either bless or curse somebody with it. I will say, let's just strive to always bless as opposed to curse. All right. Talk to you on the next episode. Bye.
To connect with me, email at joa@haveacupofjohanny.com, or you can also find me on TikTok at Have a Cup of Johanny Podcast.
Oh, we could fly.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the show. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Oh, we could fly.